Hey Aces, my name's Sirena and my pronouns are she and her, and I'm going to talk to you about my journey with asexuality. So, I grew up without terms for that, like a lot of kids do, like a lot of adults do, even. I grew up saying that I had a crush on my best friend because I wanted to be best friends with her, like when I was 5, so from that young age, like being straight was pushed on me, like, because that's the only term that was there. Like, I didn't even know about anything but straight until I was like 10. So, growing up, 5 years old, like, being like, oh, I'm got a crush, and my parents making jokes about, like, oh, you're getting married. So, I started, like, talking like that myself, like kids do. Like, oh, I'm gonna marry, I'm gonna have 20 kids. I didn't know what these things meant. These were just the labels that were there for me. Um, and like I grew up and like went to kindergarten and grade school, and like I never had like an actual crush. I stayed friends with that person for a while, but like there were people in my class who would get crushes and go on dates and talk about it, and I'm like, okay, that's a thing that's happening. I was pretty isolated in grade school for a while, and even when I started making friends with people there, um, I kind of looked at dating um, as kind of like a weird, frivolous thing that other people did because it was always drama. So I was like, oh, this person broke up with that person. And it's like, oh, I thought they were dating this person. Oh, I I don't know. It was something that other people did, and like I remember distinctly, someone being like, "Oh, hey, do you see that person over there?" And I'm like, "Oh, which one?" And they were like, "The hot one." And I looked, and there were two people, and I'm like, "That's you're not being helpful." Like, it's amazing. I mean, it's no wonder that I didn't realize sooner because I didn't have the words for it. Um, but I got the words in high school when friends were like gathered around. We were like talking about, oh, who's the like hottest person in school? Who do you like the most? And we were going around in a circle, and it got to me. It was like, oh, what about you? Who do you like best? And I'm like, I don't know, no one, I guess. Um, and then my best friend at the time was like, oh, that sounds like asexual. And I was like, what's that? And I said, oh, it's like when you're not into anyone. And then my life like flashed before my eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, that's perfect, that's me. And I got just like handed that on a silver platter. It's like, oh, here. And I liked it, and I held on to it. And I obviously I'm still holding on to it. Um, and I'm glad that I have it now, and I had it then. I liked it so much that I would like always tell people first because I like loved so much that I had a word for me. I wanted to be like, all right, everyone, you have to know that this is me. I don't want people thinking I'm not Ace anymore because I love being Ace so much. And it got like a little tiring dealing with all the invalidation. Um, but like I didn't stop. It wouldn't have been worth it. I did, like like it was too good. It's too good. Like having a term. Um, but like after enough people say that's not a thing, or you're broken, or you've got something else going on with your hormones or whatever, you'll grow out of it. It really like ate away at me, and like externally, I'd still be talking to people like, "Oh yeah, I'm super ace, and you gotta deal with it." Um, like on the inside, I was starting to get like, "Am I really ace?" Like I went on Avon for a bit, just like figure out what the definitions are. It's like um, lacking sexual attraction and slash or not being into like sex, which fit both of them fit me. I'm like, okay, but I still feel like maybe I'm not like picture perfect ace or whatever. And like for years and years and still to a degree, I'm like, but am I really like, am I allowed to feel this good about having this word? But like what do I have to do to prove that I can have it and be happy? It kind of sucks like that. But like if I didn't have it then like, would I have just kept living and being asexual, or would I have like started to like try to mold myself to the script that was given to me as like apparently a straight kid? I don't know. It's weird to think about that. I don't think I would have. I think I probably would have just like kept on being ace and not having a word for it. But that reality also doesn't exist, and it's I don't even know if I can say it's brought me more harm than good or more good than harm, but I wouldn't change it. Like I liked having the word gender too, like being outside of the, because like I try to ask people like, oh, what is like I got really up in people's business, like, oh, what's sexual attraction like? Like asking because I was curious, but also because I wanted to really, really be sure that I was allowed to call myself ace. And I'd ask the same thing about gender too, like what does it mean that you feel like a man? What does it mean that you feel like a woman? And they'd talk about stuff, and I'd be like, yeah, I don't feel that. I'm like so outside your experience, um, and it feels better for me to be able to say I'm this thing, even if this thing is like means it's nothing, it's no gender, it's no sexuality. Just like being able to conceptualize it in a succinct term feels good. Like that's the power of language. It can like be a source of anxiety, but can also be a source of joy. And I like to focus on the joy part, I guess. And I'm really, really glad that I can call myself asexual.